two types of people in this world. There are people who make their rough situations an excuse, and the people who don't. Plain and simple. But you definitely have, like, you know, the sinners and the Yonas and the extra Emilys. She could very easily go down the same pipeline that India Love has, that Lala Baptiste has, but she chooses not to. So this is, I'm just reading the title. I want to make that very clear. I don't necessarily agree with what's being said. I'm just reading the title. But the title is BBL Demon Haunted by Her Past. Let's get it.
What's poppin', y'all? The BBL demon that will be remembered in the next Streamer Awards for trying to pull a yay, drunkenly getting on stage, has decided to collaborate with the new streamer darling for everybody. And funny enough, there's a Valkyrae wouldn't approve of the age gap between them, since I believe India Love is 30 or 31 and Yana is 19. Oh, is that weird?
Okay, I just want to speak on that very quickly because I don't think I've ever talked about it before. In my opinion, I don't think it's crazy for somebody like Pokimane or India Love to necessarily collaborate with somebody who's younger, like Yona, right? I know that was Pokimane's comment. She said she thought it would be weird, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it is. But I don't think she's wrong for perceiving it that way, because the internet just makes things weird. Regardless of whether they're actually weird or not weird, the internet makes things weird. So it's understandable. But yeah, in this instance, I feel like it's more of a sisterly thing, you know? Like you've got like the older sister, younger sister.
No, it's chill, it's whatever. But she wanted to ask her a couple of questions, because the way that Yana has handled her career is quite different from how India Love came into the game, famously getting, pressed on by the game in a public park. And she wanted to figure out, like, oh, she must have had a great upbringing.
How do you, like, where do you get this from? You have, like, good parents, or, like, how did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in, my household wasn't toxic emotionally.
Good.
It was just, like, substance and stuff in the house that I lived in was not the greatest, so it brought me a lot of, like, depression.
Wow,
Like,
you were depressed?
Yeah, whenever I was growing up. So then, one day I decided, like, especially, like,
I think something about this in particular is people always think that, you know, the people who are the happiest person in the room, or the people who do well in school or have a good job or whatever, have lived a golden life throughout their entire time on Earth, right? And it's like, a lot of the time, everybody struggles. Unless you are like 0.001% of the population, pretty much everybody has been through some sort of rough situation or struggled in one way or another, right? And it's not an excuse. At the end of the day, there are two types of people in this world. There are people who make their rough situations an excuse, and the people who don't. Plain and simple. I'm not saying that's the case for either one of these two ladies, but I'm just saying in this world, there are those two types of people, generally speaking.
for a long time, I grew up so angry at people, and I would just hold it. So every time I would talk to the people that I loved, I would be so rude and nasty, and it was not okay. And I was also just rude to myself for a long time. But then I said, you know what?
I would never, ever would have guessed it.
Yeah, no, I used to be very angry with everybody. Like, I wasn't a mean person, but like, the
Your
little
circumstances
things, yeah,
made you a little angry.
yeah.
But
And
you're
then,
a ball of sunshine now.
yeah, because I was like, you know what? Like, I had to forgive. Like, I had to forgive. Like, that was the thing that got me.
Funny enough, this is something that I don't think any of us would have expected. I didn't even think about this girl's upbringing, but for her to have...
I mean, personally, I don't really think about anyone's upbringing unless it's something that somebody's done something really weird. For example, like the David situation. After everything came out, my first thought is, yo, how was this guy brought up? But for the majority of people on a day-to-day basis, I'm not going to sit there and look at them and be like, damn, how were you raised? Because most people are normal. Most people are fine.
Gone through an upbringing with people that have substance abuse issues, that's pretty bad. I mean, she's trying to kind of downplay it, where she's saying like, yeah, you know, like it's not as bad as it could have been. Nah, that's...
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable why she would downplay it, because this is the internet, especially as like as big of a streamer as she is. You know, when you put something online, your business becomes everybody's business. So I don't think it's a stupid decision for her to not disclose her personal life at all. But I hope she is okay. I hope she's not still dealing with a lot of those, you know, ghosts of her past, or anything is like still in the back of her mind or whatever. I feel like sometimes people who go through a lot of things will kind of put on this cover or this mask of being happy and being okay, because they don't want to burden other people with what they're going through. And I just hope that, you know, because every time we see this girl on stream, she's really happy, she's really energetic, and that's not an easy thing to do 24/7 unless you are genuinely just that type of person. So I hope that it's not just like, you know, a mask or whatever, and that that's genuinely how she is now.
That's kind of bad. And we wouldn't have thought that. And she also doesn't try to lean into it and gain more sympathy off of it either. But India Love must be looking at it like, damn, well, I have no excuse, because India Love, I believe she grew up in a good household, good family. I think even her father would be telling her like, yo, what the hell are you doing? And she just doesn't listen, wants to do whatever it is that she wants to do, especially when she was first getting into the game. And despite being her senior, and I wouldn't say her OG since they're not in the same lane, but definitely social media wise, India Love would, you know, drop off a little bit of a glaze session on Yana.
I don't want to give my opinion on like nothing,
Okay.
but
All right.
I am proud / infatuated with how you carry yourself.
Thank
Like,
you.
you have so many men and, you know, young boys, older boys that like love you.
I feel like some people aren't going to like what I'm about to say. But, first of all, let me make it very clear, right? I agree with her initial praise, right? I feel like Yona carries herself very well. Like, she understands how to present herself as a female streamer without attracting a certain audience. I'm not going to go into detail. You guys know what I'm talking about. And she has clear boundaries, and she establishes those with anybody she collabs with, or the kind of things she posts online. She just knows exactly who she is and how she wants to portray herself online. And I think that's a really good thing, considering, you know, the stereotypical female streamer. She definitely goes against that. But what I personally have an issue with is India Love's compliment. Like, I understand what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that Yona carries herself very well. But in complimenting her, why does she need to bring up that guys love her? Like, I suppose she could be trying to say that, you know, guys love her without her presenting herself in, like, the stereotypical way that a lot of female streamers present themselves as online. But that shouldn't be the entirety of the compliment, because I feel like with Yona in particular, there is so much more to her than just how she appeals to a male audience as well as a female audience, right? Just my opinion.
But like you genuinely like create your boundaries, and you're such like.
I feel like a better way of putting it is Yona appeals to everybody as opposed to just appealing to men, if that makes sense.
If I can go back in time and be who I am at your age, I would definitely look up to you.
Oh, that's so
Like, I swear to God, I look at you like, wow, she has the world in her hands right now. Like, literally.
That's so sweet for you to say.
She 100% would not have looked up to her if she was younger. If India
Yo, What is this guy talking about right now?
India Love was younger, she would have called her a cornball and said that girl is lame, because there were girls like her doing content at that time. They were on YouTube. They were like Jenna Marbles or whoever else was doing. Who was the person that was in Vlog Squad with David Dobrik? What was that girl's name? I don't even know. But yeah, you had like the Lele Pons of the world and those types of figures. Those more so aligned with more so aligned with Yana right now and her content than what India Love would have been watching. India Love wanted to be a bad bee, so she was only going to look up.
I'm not gonna lie, at first I was like, what is this guy talking about? But I kind of see what he's saying. Kind of.
To another bad bee. And I guess she achieved that, because if we're being real here, India Love is going to be inducted first ballot into the IG model.
I feel like there is definitely a very clear split or divide in terms of female streamers. This is not me trying to put women against each other. I just want to make that very clear before anyone says anything. But you definitely have, like, you know, the Sinners and the Yonas and the Extra Emilys to some extent. I feel like Extra Emily is more of an interesting topic, but different conversation for a different day. And then you have more so, you know, India Love and Samaya, I think that's her name, and those types of creators. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with being either or type of streamer, because at the end of the day, you know, streaming is about having different people presenting themselves in different ways, and if we were all the same, they wouldn't be very entertaining.
Hall of Fame. She was like one of the first ones to really take it to the next level. Yeah, there was what was her name, Jen Selter, but Jen Selter, I don't think she ever made it.
I have no idea who this person is. And I also want to say, I had no idea who India Love was before Streamer U, right? I had no idea who she was. Like, I watched the introduction to the Streamer U thing, which might be on my YouTube channel, I think. And Kai Cenat obviously introduced India Love. I had no idea who she was, because I wasn't in that circle at that time. Like, I was not, when I was like a kid, when Instagram was like first popping off or whatever, I was not on Instagram like that. I really wasn't. I didn't know who IG models were. I was not concerned with, like, you know, that whole situation. I was like a kid and I was just playing Minecraft.
Off of Instagram. Like, yeah, she made her bag and all that, but India Love went mainstream. It was kind of like, I guarantee India Love thought Amber Rose was cooler than any other chick that would have been like some Disney Channel girl like Yana. But you see like a little bit of a slip from India Love. She's saying, oh yeah, you know, all these men, like in her head, she's like, oh wait, all of these men that have a lot of money and power want to do stuff for you because they want to use you and then toss you to the side, and you're not taking that offer up. Which
let's all just be very objective for a second, right? The majority of female streamers, I don't know why I said the majority. I don't think I've seen any unattractive female streamers on Twitch, because there just aren't, right? And Yona's a beautiful girl. Let's not lie. Let's call a spade a spade. Yona is beautiful. And I feel like what this guy is referring to is that if Yona wanted to, she could very easily go down the same pipeline that India Love has, that Lala Baptiste has, that, you know, all of these other female streamers have, but she chooses not to. And I feel like maybe to some extent that is why she is amazed or interested, or whatever word you want to use, because Yona's just using a different approach when she could very easily go down the same pipeline. And I feel like it's definitely very exciting to see more female streamers coming into the light with different personalities and different interests and streaming different things.
But then India Love would try to create some ridiculous scene about how it's some conspiracy theory that people are trying to hold them back.
And just positive things at all times. Because the internet is always going to try its best to like make things negative and pin people against each other and say negative things. So we should just enjoy each other and build each other up. Especially,
I think I agree with this, right? And maybe I understand this more because I'm a woman. But I feel like for male dominated fields, for example, let's take like hip hop and rap, right? For example, like Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion. Whenever you have a smaller percentage of women in a male dominated field, I need to word this very carefully. You often have people pinning those people against each other, right? Because in their eyes, there's got to be a pyramid where you've got one person on the top and everybody else underneath. And the same thing kind of lines up with streaming in the sense that, like, you know, there's not that many female streamers when you look at the ratio of male to female. So people definitely pin a lot of female streamers against each other or try to make it into a thing where one community is better than another. But that happens with both male and female streamers. I just feel like, obviously, because there's fewer female streamers, you definitely see or feel that tension a bit more, if that makes sense.
There's a reason why the top streamers overall are male, because the male audience is going to watch a male streamer. That's just how it goes. Will they watch a female streamer? Sure. But usually the reason why they're watching a female streamer, the same viewer, is not because she's more entertaining or more relatable than the male streamer that they watch. It's for thirst-based reasons. So if it's for...
I'm not gonna lie. I agree with what he's saying. The point I'm trying to make is, it's understandable if I'm streaming with another girl and we're having a stream, I don't know, let's say we're doing something that is more catered towards women. A guy is probably not going to want to watch that. The same way I'm not going to probably sit there and watch two guys doing something that is more of a guy's interest. Obviously, that's not necessarily always the case. But I feel like it makes sense. Like, it's not a ridiculous statement to make. Yeah. I feel like if more women collaborate in streams and do things that are... I need to be careful how I word this because I don't want people to misinterpret what I'm saying. But I feel like we need more female streamers who are doing exciting things, right? And I mean that with no disrespect because I'm literally a woman myself. But the most interesting to me, the most interesting collaborative stream that I've seen between women is probably the Sisathon with Cinna, Valkyrae, and Emiru, I think. And they were doing a whole bunch of different activities, right? I liked Emily's IRLs. Yeah, exactly. But I feel like a lot of the time when women stream, they aren't doing things that are as interesting or as extreme as like what a lot of guy streamers do, right? For example, Agent went to the Arctic Circle or the I think it was the Arctic Circle, right? Or he went to like Greenland or something, and he was making a tent out in the cold, right? Now, am I saying that women need to get together and go to, like, the Sahara and try and survive in the desert? Obviously not. But I feel like if we had more streamers like that, who are doing things like that, it would probably even out the playing field a bit more, right? Yo, chat, make me blow up and I'll go do something crazy, I swear. I'll go, like, live on, like, a stranded island on some Jason the Ween type content. Like, I'll make it happen, guys. I'll make it happen. I'm not gonna lie though, I do just very quickly want to give Yona her flowers because she's popping off this year, right? With streaming. She's on Iceman. For anyone who doesn't know that, spoiler alert, I guess. She's on the Iceman album. She's got like a little clip of her and Ben the Don, is that his name? Like talking over a track. Like, she's going crazy this year, and I really hope that a lot of other women look at her and think, damn, I don't have to be, like, streaming regarding guys or towards guys to be successful, to be in the streaming industry. Okay, I think we've covered everything that needs to be covered in this video. So, yeah, we're done with that. We're done.